Hello, everyone. It's William here at Allegory Gallery. Thank you for joining me today. So I'm a little bit late because I was trying to get the computer up and running and it doesn't want to. So I had to get my iPad and I have the comments coming up on the iPad, but it's very small. So I'm going to be squinting a little bit here. But thank you for joining us. Thank you for hanging out with us today. Um, Let's see who is out here with me. I'm just going to bring this closer to me right now because you can't see it, and it's better if it's closer to me so I can see all your comments. I have to read it anyway. Hey, Susie, thanks for joining us out there over on Facebook. Marianne is here on YouTube. Kimberly is also here. Susie is here. Thank you. Thank you. Vicky is here. Norma is here. Thank you all for being here today. Um, Everyone's saying hi, saying, are we feeling the love within this group? That's right. That's right, Marianne. Good job. I made a post today. There's a lot of stuff going on in the world, and I think there's not enough love. And I think, they've taken that word, whoever they are, ever since I was young, the word love was one of those words that you kind of guarded. It was meant for, certain people, but not others. Um, and as one of my one friends was talking about, you talk about fear and you talk about love, and fear is a restrictive, and it's a restrictive emotion. It keeps you controlled. It doesn't allow things in. Love is exactly the opposite. And my family, we were one of those families for a long time that, we knew there was love, but we didn't say I love you very often when I was growing up. You'd say it to certain people, you'd say it. Certainly guys didn't say it to one another. There was all this taboo around that word. And um, when you think about that, I think it's a very restrictive place to put ourselves in, to not be able to tell the people that you care about that you love them, and not to be able to, you know, be abundant with that love. And I think that's one of the things that's used against us sometimes, is that, you know, we have a lot more in common than we do. Um, than we do differences, than we have differences. And there's a lot of love between people I don't even know that well. You find these things in common, and you're just, you can hit it off with people real quick. And um it's and then you become afraid of that. You become afraid of what that means, or what that comes down to. And it all stems, for me, I think, from this idea that's a reserved emotion, that you can't be abundant with that. And not being abundant with that also, I think, means not being abundant in caring, not being abundant in giving, in willing to sacrifice for people. And so I just made a post about that today, and so I think that's Marianne's picking up on that. With, is there feeling of love in the group? And we hope there is. We hope there's a lot of love. We love you all out there, and we're so thankful for each and every one of you who are out there with us and that stick by us and that show us love every day. And we want you to know you're loved back. And it's something that, it took me many, many decades to be able to say that word, and it still feels weird sometimes to say that word. Like, or is somebody going to take that too much to heart? But how can you take that too much to heart? It's such a funny thing. um anyway, um let's see. Nothing but love here, says Norma. Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, my cat Seif is sitting on my shoulder purring, says Marianne. That's cute. That's cute. Barnaby and Gertie both like to sit on my shoulders. Both of our shoulders, actually. They were jumping up on Andrew's the other day, too. And they just sometimes purr away. Barnaby likes to sit. Gertie will sometimes like lay herself around the back of our necks and kind of lay there. It's a nice neck warmer. Let's see. Everybody's saying hi. Um, Marion says, I might make a few exceptions for loving certain people, but trying to give them the benefit of the doubt. Yeah, it isn't. I know it's not for everybody. That's not the point of it. But between friends, And it's such a taboo, I think, and we're getting better, I think, as time goes on. At least I've seen in my life, people are getting better, like even with friends, saying I love you to friends. But that was something growing up, like you did not say that to your friends, especially as guys, there. And I think it even happened with a lot of my girlfriends, women friends. um, and it shouldn't matter what gender, it shouldn't matter what anything is. You should be able to love somebody just because you care about them, and you have that emotion for them. And I think that's a good thing. Anne is here. Hello, Anne. Thanks for joining in. Um, Susan is also here. Hello, Susan. Thank you for joining us. I think that's the first Susan of the night, right? Let me go over here on Facebook and see. I have to refresh Facebook and make sure I'm not missing out on any comments. I tried this thing where um, I tried deleting my browser cache history to see if it would help with the comments coming up on StreamYard, but it doesn't. So I think it's just, I think it's a them issue and not a me issue. So I wish the comments would come up here, but they don't. At some point, hopefully tonight they will. But I don't know why. I don't know why it doesn't work like it used to. But how's everybody doing out there? How are you all doing today? Maria says, some think the word love should only refer to romantic love. Um, let's see, it is a similar but different kind of emotion when you love your friends. Yeah, yeah. Um, and that's what, I think in a lot of cases that word is kind of um at least in my world, the word love has always been placed more on the romantic, or like for your grandparents. Of course, we told our grandparents we love them. Um, but even that we didn't do that a lot. I mean, toward, as I got older, I did. But, it was just one of those things that um, it seems like it's so compartmentalized, I guess. And really, I think whether you love your friends or you love romantically, it comes from the same place. It comes from a place of abundance, of wanting for those people to do well, for wanting your relationships with those people to do well. Um, and yeah, so anyway, figured that just came in my mind today. I was reading some other people's posts, and I just was thinking about it. And I'm like, you know what? We need to spread the love and allow that to be unrestricted, um, because I think we're taught to restrict that emotion, and I think that emotion is what brings goodness into the world. Um, Susan Surreal's here. Hello. Um, Vicky says, I wasn't raised expressing love in my family. I'm working on it now. It's a work in progress. Yeah, it's not easy, right? When you're not brought up that way. And some people are. Some people, and to us when I was young, it was weird, right? To see people saying I love you all the time to their family and all that. But um and like I said, there was always love in my family. Um it was just we weren't always able to show it sometimes, and um well, we showed it in different ways. Oftentimes through helping, um all those kind of love languages, I guess, even between family members. And when you translate that into friends, like doing things for people, but actually just saying it and just letting people know that you love them. It wasn't a thing. Marianne says that is probably true for most of us, Vicky, right? Susan says, I was raised expressing love with my immediate family, everyone else, not so much. Yeah, that's a thing too, right? Um, but like I read a lot about I think Sandra was talking about a book on manifestation the other day. I read a lot about that and listen to a lot about that. And a lot of people believe that the emotion of love and that caring, and that's the light, that's the where you want to tap into to manifest the things that you want. When you are feeling that feeling, that's when the things happen. That's when you are able to most make things happen. And um, and I think that's, when I look around at where things are in the world today, I think that suppression and that restriction of that feeling, in so many areas of our life, is what has gotten us to where we are. Um, so that's why I was just trying to, it's one of those things. If you tune into that and you start to feel that emotion more often and more often, I think it can bring wonderful things, and it can carry everyone along with it. And so I'm trying to do my little part. Trying to do my little part. Um, my computer, unfortunately, is not trying to do its little part. It's not loving me very much right now. I don't know if my mouse is dead, if the um, computer just it's having a hard time right now. Um, it wasn't recognizing Bluetooth. It was saying Bluetooth was off, and now the keyboard's working, but the mouse isn't working. But I've been charging it, and it's still not working. It knows when the mouse shuts off. It doesn't seem to know when the mouse turns on, which is very strange. So I am squinting. So if you're just tuning in, you're seeing me look down here. I'm squinting at my little iPad screen to read comments. Um, Norma says, we never said I love you or hugged in my family, although we know we were loved. It took me a long time to be comfortable with hugging my friends and telling them I love them. Yeah, it's hard, right? It shouldn't be hard because you feel it. Like that's such it's the weird thing, right? Like when you are with a good friend of yours and you want to hug them and tell them that you care about them, like that emotion is 100% there. Like it's sometimes like over brimming, right? Like it is there. And the fact that just letting it out is so hard for some of us, um, is so strange. And it does point to, like, you are literally, when you don't say, when you are feeling it so much that it's like ready to come out and you're like fighting that, um, that is suppressing it, right? That's suppressing that feeling. That's telling that feeling that it needs to back off, and that's not what you want. That's not what it is to, I think, be abundant in that good energy. So I'm trying to be less like catching my own tongue, like, you know, caught in my throat and all that. Um, but yeah, anyway, that's what I was thinking about earlier today. Um, I went up to the cottage today. The pellet stove was off, so it was cold. I was cold up there today. I got it all cleaned out and got the pellet stove up and running again. And um, got it warmed up a little bit, but it took a while. It's cold here. I don't know what the temperature is. All I know is it is very cold here right now. At least I feel like it is. I don't even know where let's see what it says. Um, Everything's slow today. My iPad doesn't even want to give me the weather right now. Um, but it's cold. I don't know how it is where you are. It did snow a little bit. They were calling for, I think, 3 to 4 or 4 to 5 inches. I don't think we got that. Not at all. We got maybe a half an inch. Um, yeah, it's saying, I think, 15 degrees right now. 15 degrees. Um, Yeah, that is well, I think 18 was the high. 15 is the low today. But we're supposed to be up to 39 tomorrow. So that's a good thing anyway. So I guess maybe it'll be warming up a little bit for tomorrow. But it was cold today, and I've heard the heat kick on in the house so much today. And so when I went up to the cottage and the pellet stove wasn't running. It was cold. And so I was up there for a little bit. I didn't stay up there too long though. Because it was too uncomfortable today to be up there for too long. But I grabbed some things here for the live while I was up there, did some packing and shipping. Um, and I'll stop up in the morning and I have a few things to grab up there too, and to finish up some packages while I'm at the shop. Marianne says, I just started reading Humane. about Indigenous people in Edmonton. It's fiction, but definitely reflects Indigenous lives here in Canada. Mind you, there's a were-dog in the story. That's interesting. That's nice. I feel like humane. I feel like I don't think I heard about that, but I'm sure that's a title of other things too. But I feel like I've just seen that recently, which is strange. Um, anyway, that sounds interesting. Um, is it is the fiction like is it historical fiction or just completely fiction? Like does it have some fact to it or some ounce of truth? Um, Susan says it's 29 here, but after days of temperatures in the 60s, that cold air comes as a jolt. Yes, it does. Kimberly says, "Oh my goodness, my YouTube froze and still had the welcome screen." Well, we're going, y'all. We're going. Um, yeah, I'm just hoping mine keeps going here. I'm trying to refresh Facebook every once in a while to see if anybody's over there. Andrew's cooking something for dinner. I don't know what. So I came back from the cottage here, and then I ran over to Giant Eagle, which was our grocery store, to grab some groceries because I had no idea what we were going to have for dinner. And I didn't know, like, I knew we had some things, but I couldn't remember what all we had. And I didn't know if there was enough of anything to make a meal. And Andrew's usually really good at it, but he has not. I've been trying to do the dinners so that he can continue working on his art that we're going to drop tomorrow. And but I came home, I grabbed some pizzas just in case, and uh, and I came home and he had something in the oven. I think it's dinner. Maybe it smells like it could be a dinner thing. So it smells really good. I'm excited about whatever it is. Um, it's set in modern day Edmonton, but has some facts in it. That's cool. Um, Norma says, Kimberly, my YouTube has been freezing on my phone, but not the TV. That's weird. My YouTube up here, but I just assumed it was my computer. For the past few lives has been kind of jolty. Um, but I assume that's the computer that can't play it back because it's having some issues. Um, so hopefully we're streaming okay. But yeah, so today I put um, the glass, the Venetian glass that we brought back from Italy. I put those strands in the online store. Took some pictures of those, put them in the online store. Sent out an email about that today, and because I have not had the chance to get those out there, I'm like, I have to do that. It's been long enough. So those are out there. If you've been looking, if you missed any of those when we were showing them in Chertaldo when we were there, and if you missed them when we came back, we shared them again. They're now in the online store, so you can grab them there. Um, and if you're local, you can grab them in the online store for pickup in the physical shop. Susan says, I received some wonderful news this week. Our new community radio station begins February 1st. My radio buddy has his old show back in the same day and time slot, and many of the other DJs are back. That's awesome. Did how did that happen? Wasn't there somebody big up that took it over or something? Did they get ousted or did what happened there? But that's great news. That's awesome. I know how much that radio station and your buddy's channel meant to you. So that's really good. I know you were all really sad when that happened. Um, Marianne says YouTube's fine, both on the phone and TV. That's good. Marianne shared a picture of the snow outside your window. And I wrote, I don't know, I didn't get a chance to check to see if you replied, but I said, I hope that's like snow that fell off the roof or like was plowed because it was like mounded up. I said, I hope that's not like normal accumulation right in that area. Um, so that was a gigantic pile of snow. I'm assuming it fell off the roof or something. I hope. Because if you got that much snow, that is wild. Um, it was plowed. Okay. Yeah. Because I was gonna say But that's kind of that's also wild that it was plowed and it was that high. That's a lot of snow. That's a lot of snow to move around. Um, the picture was completely above her living room window. Like it covered, like you look out the living room and it was like the whole pile of snow. Um, it was like you were snowed in. Um, which is wild to think there's that much snow around to push around. We do not have that kind of snow around here. The most our plows are plowing up is like this much of snow. Um, maybe this much is gathering up. It is not um, anywhere up past our windows. But and I don't want that kind of snow right now, for sure. Do not want that kind of snow right now. Um, But yeah, so we'll go over a few things before we get into it. I'm kind of chilly up here, so I'm going to go a little faster tonight, maybe, because I was cold at the cottage, and I have not warmed up, and the room up here is chilly. Um, so uh, for those of you who may not have heard, we are having a mineral and rock sale in the physical store on January 30th, 31st, and February 1st. That weekend, we're having a rock and mineral sale, and we are we're hoping people will come up. We're gonna have lots and lots of rocks and specimens and minerals and fossils and all different things. We've had boxes and boxes of them between the cottage and the house and the garage, and we're getting them all together and we're just putting them out on tables and letting people go through them. And we're gonna price them. Hopefully, I think we just price them really well, cheap and ready to go, so we can hopefully move some of that stock. So we're going to be doing that. That's going to be in Johnstown. We are we are going to have a creative make along, the first creative make along of 2026 on the 23rd of January, I believe it is 23rd of January. It's on the Beat in the New Year calendar as Create Virtually with Friends. So you can join us for that. We have a blog post about that, but we also sent out an email. Um, and we have a Facebook event. So all of that is available for the link on Zoom. You can hang out with us and do that. Andrew has registrations open at Peters Valley for his enamel workshop. It's decals on enamel. You can learn how to make your own decals out of your own artwork and then add them to enamel pieces. So that's available to sign up for at Peters Valley School of Craft. Um, what else? What else? Oh, on February 24th, my birthday, we are going to be doing a Kittapalooza birthday celebration. So, all day long on February 24th, that's a Tuesday, we are going to ask you to please show us everything you've made using Allegory Gallery kits. Hopefully, you can bring up stuff from the past, but also you will bring up stuff that you have just created. We might do some kind of make-alongs during the day. So we'll do some make-alongs, maybe. We'll see how it goes. Probably at least go live and kind of maybe do work with us. We will also have for the live that evening at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, we will have a Kittapalooza event where we release a bunch of kits. I don't know how many kits. We'll find out. We're going to be working on them, but we will have a lot of kits to be released that evening. Let's see here. Uh, where am I here? Whoops. There are about 4 piles like that just on the north side of my building, plus some in the south parking lot. Oh my goodness, that's a lot of snow. Susan says the new community radio station will be internet only and streamable, past and present. The organizers are searching for an FM station to buy and someone with deep pockets to buy it. I see. I see. That makes sense. My friend and the other show hosts are very knowledgeable about their chosen genres. The former management is somehow personally profiting from the sale of the old station, but karma being karma. Yeah, let's let that karma happen, right? Yes. So let me see if anybody is over here on Facebook. I have to switch Susie says, I see you. Good. I'm glad. And it looks like new comments are coming up on there. So that's good. Not many people watching out there, but we appreciate anybody who watches wherever you watch. If you're out there, please say hi. It's nice. It's nice to get to know people. What else? What else is happening? What other events do we have going on? There's a lot going on. And of course, it's Beat in the New Year. So it's we're doing that. And sorry, I'm trying to get to where I need to go here. So Beat in the New Year, and I'm trying to remember today's Inspired by Forest or Grasslands was today. I thought that was yesterday. I am so I'm like, that feels like so long ago that I made that thing, even though it was like this afternoon that I put it and posted it. So it was to make a project inspired by the forests or grasslands. At first, I only had grasslands, and then I was like, that might be hard for people. So we'll add the forest in there too. So hopefully, I've seen some projects. I also got to go into the design challenges group today and try to comment on everybody's project, because we're trying to make sure we do that so no one feels left out, and also share the projects on our stories. So our stories are full of projects today that y'all have come up with over the last few days. If I don't share your project to our story, please don't feel bad. Mostly either I missed it because of Facebook not showing it to me, or your privacy settings are set such that I cannot share it to our stories. That is, there are about 3 or 4 people in the group that I cannot share your items to our stories. And you probably know who you are. You probably have your settings set that way. But in case you don't, and you're like, why does he share everyone else's stuff and never shares any of mine? That's why. I can't. It doesn't let me. I could take screenshots of it, but because your privacy settings are set like that, I'm not going to do that. I assume that you have them set that way for a reason, so I don't go and work around that ever. Let's see. Susan says that former station manager similarly destroyed a nonprofit in Colorado and took the money and from that and ran with it. I think you mentioned that, which is not great. Oh, you brought me a blankie.
Well, I'd look for the heating pad, but I don't know where it is.
I don't know either. Thank you.
I had it in it's probably in the car or the van or something.
This will help
But
keep me a little warmer.
I had it at
What heating pad do we even have?
there's a little round one that I used to sit.
Yeah, I forgot about that. That would be nice.
I had that at Haystack.
Oh yeah,
And
probably in the van then.
I had
That
it.
makes sense.
Well, it was in the car or in my bag.
Oh.
So I don't know where it is now. But I had it
It might be down in the laundry on that.
I looked.
Oh, you did?
Unless it's buried under something.
Could be.
But so at least have a blanket.
Yeah, thank you. That's already feeling warmer.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Susan said, Marion, that snow looks scary. Is that typical for Edmonton? Says, yes, Susan, most years. Kimberly says, that is so sweet, Andrew. Yes, it is. My feet are freezing right now. And I still have my socks on. I'm a weird person in that if my feet are cold and I have my socks on, they never get warm. The only way I can get my feet warm is usually taking my socks off. It's like the socks create this barrier of cold that's impenetrable. It's so weird. So usually when I come home and get under the covers, I take my socks off and then my feet warm up. But I'm not there yet. And my feet usually aren't this cold at this hour. Marianne says, last year they didn't pile any in front of my windows. It actually was a little scary watching the bobcat dump the snow. I bet. I bet. I think I remember you sharing that before too. I think you shared that in the past where they've dumped that snow in front of your window. Yeah, that's a lot of snow. That's a lot of snow. Let me check my mouse and see if my mouse is working over here yet. My oh, it is. Maybe I can get some bigger comments at least. That will be nice if I can get a stream. Oh, I got to turn off the sound though because I had the sound on again. Oh yay, bigger comments, much easier to read. Let's go over here on Facebook now too. So today's show is going to be glass heavy. It's going to be glass heavy. I have a lot of glass strands and lamp work that I'm going to be showing. That's just kind of the things that I pulled today. I was kind of in that mood. So I pulled the glass and lamp work stuff. So hopefully you like that. I also wanted to go on here because I feel like I missed something. Let's go into our Facebook events. I kind of did miss something. I kind of mentioned it earlier, but yeah, tomorrow's Andrew's art drop. How about that? I was like, my hands are so dirty. I was cleaning the pellets. So Andrew's art drop is tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern time on in our online store. Some people have been asking, like, when are you going to let those little vegetable or fruit faces go? Tomorrow. Tomorrow they're going to be available. The strawberry is still available. I cannot believe. I thought it was one of the cutest ones. The strawberry is still available in the online store, which is wild to me, but it is. So um, the strawberry is still available. One of the Calamansi friends is still available. I think just one. And then some of his metal and enamel pendants are still available. So that's from the first drop. We've left that in the fresh drop category, but as of tomorrow, the new drops are going to happen in there. So we'll turn those on. And we'll have the new drops going in there tomorrow. So hopefully you'll take a look at that. And if you want any of those, he has a radish coming up. He has an orange. Did you see the orange? Isn't it cute? And the other fruit that I can't, the guava so far, an orange, a guava, and a radish. Those are all going to be popping up tomorrow. He has previewed them all on his Andrew Thornton artist page, and I've shared, I think, most of them to our stories at least. And so that'll be happening. So stay tuned for that. Let's see here. Let's see. Marion says, I have shared that before, but I think this is the biggest pile. Yeah, it's really big. Susan says Norma Station is also a musician. She and her spouse can't get gigs in the surrounding areas because of their bad reputations. Oh boy. Susan says, yay for Andrew's upcoming art drop. Yeah. Marion says, me likes the orange. Isn't the orange is super cute? They're all really cute. I don't know which I like best. I kind of like the radish, and I like them all. I like them all. The orange is super cute. The radish, the radish is bigger. So there's more to it, which I kind of like because I like a big lapel pin a lot of times. So, and that's kind of what these are. They're nice big pins. And so I do like the radish. I like that it's big and has, some size to it. But I also love the guava. It's just so pretty and kind of sparkly and nice. So those are all going to be um, available tomorrow, amongst other things. We have some paintings that are going up, so those will be available. I don't know what else is going to be finished by tomorrow, but we've got some fun things coming up for y'all. And Angela says, cold wind on dog walk, down coat and heated vest. 2 days ago, beach wear at 80. Maybe snow Sunday. Crazy weather. Hello, Angela. Yes, it is crazy weather. It is wild out there. Um, and yeah, it's yeah, we're supposed to be up almost to 40 tomorrow, and it is, I think, what I say, 15 right now. It's cold. It's dang cold. Thankfully, our split system is still able to pull heat out of the air. I don't know how that works. I have no idea how that works, but our split system finds heat in the air. It's like a heat pump and it pulls heat out and it is still pushing heat out. So even though the pellet stove wasn't running, the split system has been. So that's been good. Uh, Norma says, "Hey, Angela, that is crazy. It really is. It really is. It's about 30 here now," says Marianne. So you're like twice as warm as us. Wow. Susan says, "Hey, Angela, the up down weather struggle is real. I was seeing people in shorts, not today, though. No, I don't think today. Not here for sure. Um, although you never know around here. I will say, growing up around here, people will wear shorts in the coldest of weather. I don't understand it. I don't know, but maybe they're onto something. I've never tried it. I have to say, I've never tried it. Maybe they warm up faster. I don't think so, but I don't know how people do it. But it was cold out there today. I did not want to go out, and once I got up to the cottage, it was cold, and I could not stay up there for very long. So I did what I could do up there, which is good. Frostbite is a thing, says Susan. I know, right? January thaws are a lovely phenomenon. Yeah, I bet, especially when you've got snow like that. Um, so yeah, that is what's happening here. We've got a lot going on, and uh, yeah, I don't know. I still don't know. I should have asked Andrew what we're having for dinner. It probably has no name. He probably just threw. He always makes up names. I say, "What's for dinner?" and he makes up a name for something. Um, it's funny because it's never the same thing twice. So, and it never has any definition of what that actually is. Um, it's supposed to be in the 30s tonight, says Susie. That's pretty cold for around here. Yeah, of course. Yeah, Florida, 30s. That's like um, it probably that I mean, low 30s, you're talking about freezing, and I doubt it really gets to freezing in Florida very often. Um, yeah. Here, I was surprised. I did not think it was going to be as cold as it was today, but the wind was blowing, and everything was ice. Like the windshield was iced over. Things had this little gritty ice everywhere. So it did ice out uh, at some point last night before it rained. I know it was raining all day when I came home from pottery, which is yeah, a thing I did, which I haven't talked about yet. When I came home from pottery, it was icing out. It was just raining actually, and then at some point I woke up today and it was snowing out. So it must have iced over first because there's a layer of ice down on the ground and everything. Uh, Ordered pizza for the boys, says Kimberly. Nice. What'd you get for yourself? What are you having? My snow may not be completely gone until May, though. LOL, says Marianne. You Canadians and your snow. Um, yeah, thankfully our ours so far, it wouldn't take long to melt what we've got right now. Again, we melted all of ours off the first time, and from the last snowstorm, and we just got a little dusting overnight, but it dusted over ice, which was not fun. Kimberly says, "Gotta say that when I am a full-time empty nester, I'm going to save so much money when my hubby is traveling." um, your meal's a lot cheaper than everybody else's. Yeah. Whenever Andrew is away, my meals become pretty inexpensive. And Kimberly says, "I usually eat one meal a day and had Chick-fil-A for lunch." It says, "I am full." Yeah, my meals become very I'm like, "Oh, I made some eggs and I ate eggs today." Or I'll just do like a pack or two of ramen. And that is still below $1 a pack, which is kind of wild with everything going on. Um, but yeah, my meals become very weird when Andrew is not around. And I don't think that's necessarily good for my nutritional value, but I do tend not to like whenever he's around, we cook and he'll cook or I'll cook and we make real food generally. Whenever he's not around, my real food becomes like cookies, not cookies, sometimes chips and salsa or chips and dip, or I'll get some red beets, uh, pickled red beets and sauerkraut and eat that kind of stuff. Or I'll buy the things to make a sandwich, but instead of making the sandwich, I'll just eat pieces of cheese and like yeah, sometimes I just eat cheese instead of actually making it into a sandwich. It's so weird. Um, Kimberly says, yes, I usually will just eat toast or crackers or eggs or something like that when I'm by myself. I don't have to order dinner and I refuse to cook for one. Sometimes I get up the gumption to, actually cook for myself, but it's rare. And if it is, it's like mac and cheese from the box, um, something very easy, something very like I'll heat up a can of soup. That's my cooking, something like that. When it says pickled beets with cottage cheese is yummy, that does sound pretty good. Go for that. One story I've been following is the Altadena bear that invited himself to a crawl space under someone's home. Has finally been evicted, says Susan. Oh my goodness. You've got all these wild animal stories. What's going on with monkeys? What's going on with the goat? Um, what is happening? What is going on? Marianne says, I got eggs on toast for brekkie and chicken soup for dinner with some nuts for snacks. See, that's at least you're like eating like 2, 3 times a day. That's good. And eggs is good. Toast, chicken soup, that's good. Some nuts for snacks. That's see, good proteins, lots of good stuff. Mine is not. When I do stuff, it is not like that. Not at all. Kimberly says, I have started to freeze individual servings of dinners so that I have easy meals for one here and there. That's a good idea. Although we don't usually have many leftovers. Uh, Marion says, at least twice a day. LOL. It's good. It's good to eat at least twice a day. We don't. We should, but we don't. I mean, sometimes we do. We're trying to be better. And usually, like, if I don't run off to the cottage first thing and I'm around during lunchtime, sometimes Andrew will make us a lunch and we'll have eggs or, he made grilled cheese the other day. Sometimes I just grab a banana and sometimes a banana and an apple and run off. Sometimes he has some kind of cake or sweet thing that he's made the night before, and I'll have that for a lunch thing. And then we have dinner. Dinner's our big meal of the day, and it's usually a pretty big meal of the day. But yeah, that's that. Um, Not a peep from either the monkeys or the goats. It's made for some hilarious memes, and one late night hosted a segment about them. That's funny. I mean, I know it's not funny because they're probably scared, but it is kind of funny. Just imagining them at like having a party time out in the city. But yeah. Anyway, let me flip this camera around and let's get started with the goods tonight. Like I said, it's going to be glass heavy. So if you're not into glass, I'm sorry. Um, but it is going to be glass heavy. And I mean, who's not into glass though, really? Let me get up here and get back to Facebook so I'm not missing anybody's comments, hopefully. I feel like I am because they're not coming up. Come on. All right, it says I have 8 comments, but nothing's showing up. I haven't refreshed. Nothing is showing up. There they are. Um, we are to get snow on Saturday, says Susan. Okay. And having potatoes. That bear was on TV. He didn't want to leave, says Susie. Nice. Um, Andrew says, you don't always eat your snack. I found many desiccated bananas in random bags. Yeah, sometimes when I'm taking lots over to the cottage, I throw a banana in my bag with the lots. And then I'll sort all the lots and take them out, and I'll forget to take the banana out of the bag. And then there's a banana that sometimes gets left in the bag. because I get so busy I don't eat, which is not great. Diane has joined us. Hello, Diane. Thanks for joining in. Um, my dinner consisted of popcorn, says Susan, not motivated to make anything more complicated. See, sometimes you need to do that, right? I've had popcorn for dinner before, 100%. Usually I like the microwavable, um, what's it called? Kettle corn, the microwavable kettle corn. And because it's a little bit sweet and it has a little bit of that good sugar on it. And I like that. Petrified bananas. Not quite petrified, unfortunately. Petrified would be better. Would be better. Um, but yes, yes. Susan says, I love kettle corn. Me too. Me too. The funny thing is we have a number of events that we go to, like some of them here in town, like Fort Ligonier Days, and they always have kettle corn vendors. I never go and buy the actual kettle corn. I don't know why. I love it. But usually the lines, and that is one of the reasons, the lines are usually so long for that. Like it's one of the busiest places is the kettle corn vendor. So I never actually end up getting it. So I just buy the microwavable kettle corn and it's pretty good. Pretty good. I think Orville Redenbacher and then I think ACT. I don't know if that's a brand just around here for popcorn. Um, but I think theirs is pretty good too, if I remember. Um, let's see here. Oh, our friend Beth. So we had a delivery come today, and it was Amazon delivering. So Amazon Prime trucks are running around, and they delivered to the wrong house. They delivered to our neighbor, and she grabbed it and took it in because it was cold. And she's saying she can drop it off tomorrow. Yeah, you can just either leave it on your porch or drop it on ours. It's just bags and some mugs. So you can mugs for me to do a few dye sublimation things. So yeah, if you're still watching Beth, feel free to either leave it on your porch and I'll pick it up, or you can drop it off on ours. Um, but I'll be leaving early tomorrow to run to um, go to the store. So if you want to leave it on your porch, I can grab it then. That'll be good. Marion says we have Act popcorn. Nice. You have Act popcorn? Okay, so it's bigger. It's a bigger brand than I thought. Um, Marion says I do my popcorn in a small saucepan. We used to do that for a while growing up. Not much. We used to mainly buy the microwavable ones. I always loved the idea. We had a popcorn popper for a while. You know, the old thing, the things you got in the 80s and 90s. It was a whole contraption to pop your popcorn, and you pour the kernels in, and then the hot air would start happening, and it would come and pop them out, and they'd spit out into a bowl. We had that for a while, um, and I think we got it used from someone. I don't know if it was our cousin or somebody, and we used it like a whole 3 times until that bag of popcorn was empty, and then it sat, I think, in a cabinet for forever because we just ended up buying microwavable popcorn after that. But it was kind of fun. Um, but I think we tried it in a pan 1 or 2 times. Um, but yeah, we just usually get the microwavable stuff. Let's see. Marion says, I got an Amazon delivery today too, cat food and litter. Nice. Um, yeah, we have not had the Prime trucks. This was a new thing for me. I've seen the Prime trucks around town recently, and they are wild. Like the trucks, like when they stop on the side of the road to like go to somebody's house because they don't have a driveway or they don't want to go up the driveway, the whole back of the truck that opens up, there's like a ring of lights. It's like a ring light around the back of the truck that's red. And I was driving to the cottage one night, and I saw this red light. I was like, "What in the world is going on up there?" It was just an Amazon Prime truck. It was so weird. But I guess, I mean, that's really good for the driver. But it was just new. We've never seen that before. Um, Susan says that wrong delivery has happened to us, both Amazon and USPS. We always take the package to the intended recipient. Yeah, Beth was going to bring it over, but it's too cold, and I don't blame her one bit. Um, but it does. Um, they dropped it off on the back porch. They came in the back, which is so weird. I guess I mean that's maybe good, but there are no house numbers on the back of the houses. So either they didn't pay much attention when they drove by, because we do have the house number on the front, but and our houses are two different colors. But they ended up bringing it to her, so, and took a picture, and I saw the picture that was her back porch. Um, let's see here. We had a popper that looked like a dome, and there was an arm that would revolve to keep things from sticking. Oh, I've never seen that kind of popcorn popper. It looked like a dome, and there was an arm that would. Oh, like, I think I had. Was it a plastic dome? I think some. I think I had seen those. Ours was like a. It looked like a. Um, it stood up, and it had a spout, and it looked kind of like a standing blender, but the spout would push the popcorn out. Um, let's see. Susan said, "Oh, the Altadena homeowner said he and his dog could hear the bear. The big beast sounded like a dragon. Oh my goodness, that is wild." Marion says, "I don't think our Amazon vehicles have that. Ours are vans." Yeah, this was a van. This was a van of some sort. Um, but around the opening in the back, it had the big ring of red lights. Um, yeah, it was really it was very modern looking. The van that I saw today was also very modern looking, very sleek little vans. Susan, does anyone remember Jiffy Pop? Of course, I remember Jiffy Pop. We never, ever. I always wanted Jiffy Pop growing up, because it blew up, and that was the whole big thing to it, that you would watch it get bigger and expand and expand. We never, we never got it. I never got Jiffy Pop. And, it was just expensive. I think more expensive than the other stuff, and for no other reason than the blowing up like that. So we never bought it. My parents never bought Jiffy Pop. Um, Norma says, Susan, we always wanted Jiffy Pop, but my mother wouldn't buy it. Exactly, Norma. Exactly. My mom never would get us Jiffy Pop. Um, I think it was just because it was more expensive. You just throw it in the microwave and do it there. And it was more hassle. You had to put it on the stove. Jiffy Pop was made on the stove, so you had to do it on the stove. It was more expensive when you could just throw a bag in the microwave, or we had the popcorn popper. Um, Kimberly says they still make it. Do they really? Maybe I'll have to try it, because I've never had it. As an adult, now that I can buy my own thing, maybe I'll buy some Jiffy Pop. Norma says we had a big, heavy metal rectangular stove top popper that you had to shake the whole time to keep it from burning. Oh my goodness. That's wild. Amazon is using electric vehicles. They do have funny looking lights. Yeah, I think that's why they're electric vehicles, I'm guessing. Um, Andrew says apparently they are collectible now, those domes. So people will roast coffee beans in them. That's an interesting thing. That makes sense. Yeah, because I mean, if they're getting hot enough to do that, they could roast beans in them. That's pretty cool. All right, y'all. Let me flip this camera around, and I am going to show you some stuff today. Hopefully you like it. Hopefully you'll buy some of it. Um, invite your friends. Hit that share button. Hit that like. Hit that love. All that good stuff. Let me see here. Let me get into my email inbox. I thought I deleted all my emails today, but I've got so many emails. All right. Get this situated. Get this adjusted. Flip this camera around. Here we go. Camera adjusted. Lights on. Um, Susan says, oh wait, hold on. Susie says, we made popcorn in a large stock pot. I never actually knew as a kid that you could just make popcorn in a pot for the longest time. I thought you needed a special thing for it. Susan says, my mom was funny about stuff like that. We almost never went out for ice cream, like never. My parents used to get store brand frozen dessert that wasn't ice cream called ice milk. That's what a lot of stuff is anymore. It's a frozen dessert. It's not even actually called ice cream. Um, but yeah, we went out for ice cream once in a while. We had a few little neighborhood, like where my cousins lived. They had a little ice cream stand, the Cool It Corner, they called it. And when we were out, sometimes doing things for my brother's baseball and stuff, we would stop at ice cream on the way home. Um, so that was kind of nice. We did get to do that, but a lot of things like we did not go out to eat a lot. If we could make it at home, we didn't, go out to eat very often. But every once in a while, if we were out like shopping at the mall or for our birthdays or holidays or things like that, we would. Um, Norma says, "I remember ice milk." Blah. Oh, my iPad's gonna die, so let me plug it in here. Share the cord. All right, let's see here. Today I did not think of a number before I started all this. Lot number. We're going to use lot numbers HZP today. HZP. Because I just know I've never done that one before. So HZP. And like I said, we're going to do a lot of lamp work today and various glass, I think is what the beads of the day are going to be. And hopefully you like that stuff, because that's what I pulled. All right. Let's do some fun little ones here. We had this at 12. I'm going to give you some deals today. I'm going to do this at 10. HZP1 is this cute little lampwork glass heart with the flowers. This is a blue heart with the blue flower. One available. Oops. I left my calipers downstairs. Andrew, could you grab my calipers? Are you available to do that? I left them down in front of the computer down there when I was measuring beads today. If not, I can come down real quick. Andrew says, one of my few criticisms of our Italy trip was not enough gelato. I agree. I mean, he was really looking for gelato. It was getting cold though at some points. It was hard to eat gelato in the cold, but it was delicious. And I do wish there were more gelato places that were open. Andrew says, I oddly get cravings for ice milk sometimes. Marion says, Dairy Queen ice milk is good. I don't even know what ice milk, I don't know if I know what ice milk is. What is ice milk? Hello. Thank you. All right, this is HZP2. This is another one of these little hearts, this time in all different colors. Was 12, now $10. Beautiful lampwork glass. These are about 16 and a half millimeters by 14 and a half. Let me check this one. This one is about 14 and a half by 15 and a half millimeters. Susan says, I think ice milk is now called low-fat ice cream. Huh. Susan says, OMG, that gelato looked amazing. The gelato was amazing. Was. I used to make my grandmother once showed us how to make um, quote unquote ice cream. I guess it was ice cream in like a plastic bag. Like you would pour milk of some sort with sugar. I forget what all went into it. It was very simple. And then you would put it in the freezer, or you would throw ice cubes kind of around it and it would freeze up. And then you could have like your own instant ice cream. And I don't know how we made that, but I used to do that a lot. And it was kind of icy, but um, it was icy. It wasn't quite like a consistency of ice cream, but I loved it so much. And I just remembered I haven't made that in since I was a kid, and I forgot about that. And um, I used to love that. This is the next one. This is more of a purple color with that pink rose. And it's HZP3, $10 only. It's about 14 and a half by 14 and a half on that one. Marion says, I worked in a dairy plant when I moved to Edmonton. Bobby's Bobbles. Hello, Bobby says, we make snow cream. Is that what it was called? Snow cream? We did that as a science experiment, said Andrew. My gram showed me how to do it. I don't know where she learned. I mean, it was one of those things. And we just took a Ziploc bag, and I forget, we'd pour some cream in there, like some vanilla, and I forget sugar, maybe. I can't remember what all went in. And then you put it in ice, in a bucket of ice. Also, um, my other grandparents used to live with these people who had a farm. And so sometimes we would have um, uh, parties at the farm, and they had an ice cream maker. And me and my cousins, we would sit there, and you put all this stuff in a bucket, and there was ice around it, and then you turned a handle that would keep moving the ice cream around the insulated outside that was getting cold because of the ice. And we loved doing that. Like they got the kids to do that, and we would all sit there taking turns churning the ice cream, and it was actually really fun. And this is the last one of these little hearts. Was $12, now $10. Beautiful lampwork glass hearts. That's HZP4. And that one is 18 by 14 millimeters. Ice and salt in the outer part. Yes, you're right. There was salt out there. I don't know. What did the salt do? Um, Andrew says one of the kids got a leak and his ice cream was salty. That would make sense. I don't remember putting salt in the one my grandmother showed us how to do. I remember salt going in the churning one that we did. What was the salt good for? What does anybody know? What does that actually do? Okay, let's see here. Okay. These. This is a strand of some cool agate. These cool agate beads. This was a strand. The strand just broke. But you can see it was a nice long strand. This is very unique. I love these. Very cool. Each bead is approximately 20 by 29.5 millimeters. And let's see here. This is HZP5. And I'll do this. Um, hmm. Let's do this at 22. 22 on this one. HZP5. You get all of these, which are super. I've never seen these like this. HZP5. Some kind of etched agate. It's super cool looking. And these are also a little bit slightly twisted. You can see. Slightly twisted. HZP5. Variance says the ice allowed. Oh, wait. Salt allowed the ice to have a lower temperature. And it says, I think the salt makes the ice colder. So those are really wild. They are wild, aren't they? I love them. Kind of wanted to keep those for myself. I think they'd be beautiful pendants. And probably if they don't sell, I will. That's one of those things I'll probably take to the store um, and sell one at a time because I think they'd be great for earrings or pendants. Let's see what else do I have in here for today. HZP6. This was 8. Do it 6. Susie says, Marianne, the Pittsburgh Penguins play the Oilers next week. Oh, are we dueling each other next week? HZP6, $6. Vintage check glass strand. 1 strand available. This is about 9.5 by 12. And these are also a little bit twisted little ovals. 1 strand available. HZP6. Marianne says, don't really follow hockey. My nephew is big into hockey, but I don't know much about it. I don't know much about it. I said we're doing mostly glass, and then here I've got a piece of metal, but these are really cool. These are really cool. These are metal spacers. Let's see here. These was 24. Bring it down to 20 for the strand. And these are these beautiful brass spacers. Let's see here. I think these are African brass spacer. And just show you. Very large hole because all of that thread there is fitting through those. And you get the whole strand of them, which is a very large strand of these beautiful spacers. Or beads. I mean, call them spacers because they're a metal bead, but they're beautiful in their own right too. and very nice large hole on those. In general, they are about 5.5 millimeters. I can't tell you the hole size because I don't have a hole size on any of them, but it's very close to the same size of the bead, because the bead is, you can see the bead is thin and the hole goes through them. So very cool. HZP7, one strand only available. We've only got one of those, $20, down from 24. Marion says, I find it much easier to understand than football. Hockey than football? I guess. I don't follow either one. I don't follow either one. HZP8. I know nothing about the teams. I know nothing about the players. My nephew is all into that. I should probably learn something about it, but you know, I don't get to go to many of his games though either. Marion says, yes, me either. Susie, do you watch the hockey? Are you a hockey fan? Or did you just happen to see that this was happening? These are vintage check glass. Were $8 a strand, now 6. Beautiful blue. Use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hexagons, elongated hexagons, 12.5 millimeters by 16.5 millimeters. One strand available. HZP8. We've just sold 7. Thank you so much. Breaking that seal. We appreciate it. Now, what did I just do with the bag they came in? Oh, well, here's another bag. Take that out of there. And I'm going to put one away. That's this little heart. HCP1. Have you all started any new shows? Everybody's been talking about all these new shows. We haven't started into them. Any particular show you've been watching that's really good this season? I guess PBS, All Creatures Great and Small. That was a new one, a new season that came out. And we were talking about a few other ones. Anybody else watching anything that's been really good, that's got grabbed your attention? We've just been we've been so tired by the end of the night that we've been not trying to get into anything that's going to make us stay up too late and like binge watch. So we've been watching like House Hunters, and we started watching House Hunters International where they do the renting, and it is amazing. Like, I wonder where people get the money for for some of the renting they do. One of the apartments we looked at, one of the apartments they looked at, the rent was um they were going to $9,500 a month. And I was like, what, like, how do you like afford that? Like, I just, that's such out of our world, um that like rent or a mortgage would be $10,000 a month. That's just so far beyond us at this moment. Um, Marianne says, I know the names of hockey teams and Canadian football teams, and that's about it. Vicky says, season 2 of The Pit. What is The Pit about? What is The Pit about? I feel like I've heard of that. Let's see. These are $5 each. I have 3 strands available. These are Peruvian ceramic rounds. We still have a few of these left. These are from the factories in Peru that have closed, possibly reopening. But this is from before. So these are the old prices. Peruvian ceramic. We have 3 strands in this lovely pink color. And these rounds are approximately 12.5 millimeters. That's our store tag. That's $5. It's an old price on those. Anne said, last week my mom noticed there's a new season of RFDS about doctors in the outback of Australia after a few years, but it expired on PBS Passport tomorrow. So we binged the season in 2 days. Oh boy. RFDS. Doctors in the outback of Australia. There was, I forget what show we were watching that was about, but I think this was about doctors in India. And they weren't, it wasn't about, like, it wasn't a medical show. It was more about life and stuff. But I like that show. I can't remember what the name of it was. That's the problem, is I like a lot of, we watch shows and I like them and then I can never remember. So I rely on Andrew to remember the names of things. Um, but I don't remember what that was. Royal Flying Doctor Service, Suzanne. Huh. Marion says Broken Wood Mysteries is good. Australian on PBS. Norma says, I wish I would have known about that, Anne. I think I would have liked it. These are red. We only have 1 strand of this red in the Peruvian ceramic rounds. HZP 10. Kind of an orangey red. HZP 11. I almost went to 20. I was like, I'm on 10. I almost doubled 10 for some reason. Vicky says, hospital drama. The nurses I work with say it's very accurate. Ah. And it says, you might be able to get it other places. Norma, the email my mom got showed it on several services. Huh. I've never heard of that one. Royal Flying Doctor Service. Let's see. We had this at 26. I'm going to bring it down to, let's do 18 on it. And it is this strand of spacer beads. And these are a slightly large hole spacer bead in copper. And let me just change my screen because my colors shifted. There we go. And I like these. Some of these are already like a patinaed copper. And we've got 1 strand of that. And those are little bumpy beads, about 5 millimeters. 1 strand available. HZP 11. Let's see here. And says, William, was your show Good Karma Hospital? I think it was. I think that's right. And because I like that a lot. Yeah, I think that's what it was. Yes, it was. Good Karma Hospital. Thank you. I did like that. I don't know if we ever finished it or if there was any more seasons of that. Norma says, I'll check that out. Norma says, I'd like to watch The Pit, but I don't get whatever station it's on. It takes place in Pittsburgh, supposedly. Oh, huh. That's interesting. I've heard of it, but I didn't hear that it was supposed to take place in Pittsburgh. That's cool. Okay, these were $12. We'll bring them down to half price for you. This is $6 for the pair. Lamport glass in these blue and white. Beautiful little beads. $6 for the pair. One pair available. HZP 12.
Don't forget to refresh on Facebook.
Oh, is it not working again? Thank you. Oh my goodness. Okay. Let's see here. Nancy said, now I want homemade peach ice cream, right? Andrew says, I just know what I've seen on Heated Rivalry. Oh, Star Trek comes on tonight, says Andrew. We might have to watch that. We've been watching House Hunters so that we don't get sucked in. It's true. Really isn't that wild because that isn't that wild because it was a 4-bedroom. I still don't know. Anne recommended that show. There's a new streaming platform called through the library called Canopy, but I haven't looked into it too hard. The Pit is on HBO. Huh. Um, let's see. Anne says, I canceled the station the Pit is on, but my mom still has it, so she saves it to watch with me. That's nice. Andrew said it's on HBO, apparently. Anne says, don't worry, Norma, the Pit will eventually be on some other station, and you'll be glad you haven't seen it. I know they keep switching. They always trade off things, don't they, anymore? I guess they always did that, right? You'd have a show on TV, and then once it went off the air, somebody else would pick it up. Andrew says, you forgot NYC prices. I guess that's true. I guess that's true. Norma says, not good, Anne. She says, no, it's great, but I mean, it will be fun that you haven't seen it yet. Yeah, that's true. Marion says, so maybe I can watch The Pit. I have HBO. Okay. Catching up on comments since Facebook's being a little bit of a butthead over here. I just assume it's working when I see a comment, but then it just stops. All right. Let's see what's next. Oh, I got it there. These were $6. I'll bring them down to 5. HZP 13. HZP 13 is this grouping of antique check glass. It's antique strand originally. Very cool shape. And each one of these is approximately 6.5 by 20. One group available, which was a strand, or actually probably more than a strand. $5. All right, I'm gonna put 5 away and grab this, which I'm surprised, but that's okay. I think they're really cool. Oh, somebody did just grab HZP5. Thank you so much. Just as I said, no one did. Then someone did. We also sold an HZP9. Looks like my email is just catching up. Thank you, thank you. HZP6 is going to go away. Put that away. Only $6. There's talk of Netflix is going to buy HBO Warner Brothers. Yeah, it's all these things getting bought. Not only do they buy the shows out, but then they buy each other out. And it's like, I remember, like, I don't know, maybe it's just nostalgia, but like HBO used to be a big thing, right? Like it was such a, like if HBO did a show, it was going to be good, or, and you know, and then it gets bought out by people and things change and you know, you get these, end up with these conglomerates, which is kind of sad. I think, but I guess that's the way of things. We've just sold HZP 11. Thank you so much. I'm going to put these away. These are the three. And we have two of those still available. HZP9 still available. Susan says, all of the streaming options confuse me. There's so much. It's just like, I guess back when you didn't need to know who did what so much, right? I think like you just need to know what channel things were on, which I guess in a way was knowing the service because it was like NBC, CBS. But I felt like it was easier when you just had to know what channel things were on. And then you go to rent a movie, and it didn't matter who did. Like you didn't know who produced the movie, or I mean, maybe some people did. I didn't. We just watched movies we thought were going to be fun, and I guess that's kind of what we do now. Like we don't really pay attention to. At least I don't. Andrew does, which is good because sometimes I don't have any clue what anything's on. But if I'm just looking for a movie, I just go through all the streaming stations and find something that looks good. I read the little titles and I just find something that looks like it might be fun to watch. Like that's pretty much how I still do it because that's how we grew up doing it. Like you went to the video rental place, you looked at all the boxes, read the synopses of them, and it was like, okay, here's what we're gonna watch tonight. And that's still how I do things. Andrew's very good about remembering, thankfully, what we're watching and what things are on. I am not great about that, as he can tell you. Susan says, and I'm not paying for multiple platforms, especially for one show. Yeah, it's hard. I mean, thankfully, you can pay just for a month. So if you do see something you like, you can buy it for a month. And it's kind of like renting, renting a movie. Um, you wait till the season is all out and then you buy it. You buy 1 month's worth and then you watch that show. So for like $6.99 or $7, whatever it is, you can watch, which isn't too bad. But you got to remember to turn it off, right? This is Check Glass. Really cool strand. We had these in the store for a while. We've only got this one left in the blue. This kind of triple moon design. HCP 14 was $8, now $6. And these are approximately 8.5 millimeters by 13. One strand available. Anybody else been watching anything good? A lot of you seem to like the crime shows or the hospital shows. And I feel like that's like growing up, that's what there used to be. Like what was the one? What was the big one in the 90s? The one big hospital show? Well, there was LA Law. That was a big thing, right? LA Law was huge. And ER, right? ER was the other one. I think is ER still on? I don't know. Okay, these are brass spacers, but we priced these individually because they are a little bit more expensive. So these are 55 cents each. And as you can see, I've got multiples available. ER and Chicago Hope. Chicago Hope was another. I don't think I ever watched Chicago Hope, but I used to watch LA Law a lot and then ER. So these are these brass spacer beads. They are nice and kind of meaty. They're 55 cents each. And these are 5 millimeters by 5.1 by 5.1. These are like machined. 5.1 by 5.1 millimeters. There you go. And that's HZP 15, 55 cents per bead. We've got a lot of them here. You can have whatever you want on those. All right. Okay. It's those. Oh, we sold 14. Thank you so much. Let me put that away. Oh, and Saint Elsewhere. That was another one, right? Saint Elsewhere. I forgot about that. I think I used to watch some of that. I feel like I used to watch. I don't remember much about Saint Elsewhere, but I remember. Didn't it have a? I kind of remember. I don't remember the theme song, but like it's trying to come out. I feel like Saint Elsewhere had a theme song that was, or not even a song. Maybe just the music. Marion says, tend to mostly watch Masterpiece on PBS crime and historical dramas. And says, if we really want to go back, Marcus Welby, MD, LOL. That one I don't know. I have to say, I don't know that one. Palm Royale on Apple is really cute. New season of Shrinking should be starting soon, says Vicky. What's Palm Royale? And what's Shrinking? Andrew said there was a lawsuit about ER and the Pit. I guess ER people accused the Pit of being an unauthorized sequel to ER. Wow. Look at that drama starting. Who knew? Who knew? I just realized these were a little bit out of screen. Marianne's waiting for Dark Winds. Never heard of Dark Winds either. All these new shows. We got a whole plethora of new shows to look into. If you're into that kind of these kind of shows, right? All right. This was $12. I'm gonna bring it down to, let's do 7. That's a weird number, but let's do 7. Why not? These are these little snail like ones. That's a big, look how big that strand is. That is a big strand. On one side, they're just kind of the blue glass. On the other side, they've got a metallic coating with the blue. Large strand of snail beads, snail shells, 13, about 13 millimeters. Marion says, is it because both have Noah Wiley as a character? Bobby says, oh, I loved Marcus Quincy Medical Center. Yes, I am an old fart. Vicky, oh, wait. Anne says, I have Shrinking on my list because my sister recommended it. Dark Winds is on my list too. I don't have enough time. Vicky says, Dark Winds is fantastic. Huh. Never heard of any of these. I used to know a lot about what's on TV, but Anne says, oh, I forgot about Quincy. Loved that. HZP17. Where'd my email go? Okay, we sold some of the 15s. We still have more left, though. I can guarantee it. So if you want any of those, you can still grab some. Thank you for grabbing them, those of you who did. Let's see here. Oh, comments started working. Marion says, let's go further back to Dr. Kildare. Kildare. Don't know that one either. Oh, we just sold 16. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Um, and I just blanked on the word for these fetishes. HZP 17 are these little carved stone buffalo fetishes. I'm going to say they're buffaloes. And we will do those at $2 each. I do have multiples of those available. $2 each for the fetishes. Anne says, yes, Richard Chamberlain, always the heartthrob. Now I don't know who you're all talking about. Marianne says, I wasn't very old when Dr. Kildare was on. Laughing face. Let me refresh Facebook just to make sure we're not missing out on anybody. I think we are. Andrew says Dark Winds is on AMC. Oh, we don't get that. That's the one we keep looking at things on, I think, but we don't actually get. We used to have AMC, I think, and then we got rid of it. And now, Marion says, does the Thornbirds ring a bell? The Thornbirds. I'm picking these out here, you know. Okay, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these. These are carstone fetishes as well. HZP 18. We'll do these at $2 each. I've got 5 of these available. Andrew says, my mom loved the Thornbirds. Dark Winds is also on Netflix, says Anne. Ah. Lena says, yes, and Shogun. The Thornbirds was the miniseries back in the day. Oh, the scandal, says Anne. Scandalous, huh? Little fetishes, hand carved, HZP 18, $2 each. Mary says, oh, right, forgot about the first time they did Shogun. Let's see what else we got here. Let's do these. These are hematite fetishes. HZP 19, $2 each. 5 of these available. Adultery and a priest, says Marianne. Oh boy. Andrew says, we never finished the new Shogun. No, we did not, did we? HZP 19. These are fetishes, hand carved. This is in hematite. These are heavy. Heavy. But that metal. And it says, and Centennial, I shudder to think those shows were all probably racist. Oh boy. Susan says, I remember both as Thornbirds and Shogun version 1. Okay. Those are those. Let's see what else we've got here. These are cool. HZP 20. Let's see. This was at 6. I can't go much lower, but I'll do 5 for y'all. CP20. Susan says so many older shows and movies are cringy. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. You can't imagine watching a lot of them now, right? I tried to go back and watch some old shows, and it's in movies too, and ooh, some of them are bad. This is vintage check glass. Only $5 for the strand. These little dimpled, I love these little faceted stones. Dimpled, faceted, really pretty in this beautiful blue. I was in a blue mood. Apparently, I keep pulling blue stuff. 7.5 millimeters by 10.5 millimeters. One strand available. HZP20, $5. Okay, this is old Vaseline glass, antique Vaseline glass in red. These are $2 a bead, and I've got multiples available. I don't have many, but I have a few here. And old antique glass, HZP21, $2 each. Multiples available, and they are approximately 15.5 by 11 millimeters. I have read the book Shogun as well, but I might have to reread, says Marianne. Anne says there's a documentary series on Netflix called You Can't Ask That. It's Australian. It interviews multiple people each episode who have something in common. Like one was all firefighters. Huh. That sounds interesting. I do like those kind of things when they do those kind of documentary question shows. HZP22. A lot of good recommendations for shows. It's 8. Bring it down to 7. HZP22. We sold some of the 21s. Thank you. This is I think this is Red Creek Jasper. Andrew says, sometimes when we watch the cringy TV, I have to pause it and tell William that if he does the bad behavior, I will rain down the fury. Not that he would, but just so we're clear. What? What's going on? Um, he's gonna bring down the fury. This is, yeah, he does. Andrew gets very wound up about some of the old TV stuff. It's like, when you have a dream that your partner did something and then you wake up angry. That's kind of what happens, only it's on the TV. When the TV characters do something bad, then I get the I get the warnings about bad behavior. These are Red Creek Jasper rectangles. They're about 10 millimeters by about 14.5 millimeters. There's only one strand available. It's $7 now instead of 8. HZP22. All right, I'm going to put 12 away. HZP12. And 13 is going to go away as well. Now we had bags for all of these originally. HZP 13, antique check. I'm going to put 15 away. Some people have grabbed some of those, but if you want them, they're still available. There's beautiful brass spacers. These are like machined beauties. Kind of substantial. Add some nice kind of solid metal piece to your, and good color, beautiful color to add to pieces. Like I could see, like add something like that to this. Look how it pulls out those kind of lines in the jasper. Just by sitting that together, you start to see all these beautiful lines. And oh, so nice. That's a really good color together. Okay. I think so. I think they're good colors together. And 17, I'm going to put that away. That's these little fetishes, hand carved fetishes, $2 each. Where's the bag? And let's move 19 up, 20 up, 21. Some of those have sold, but we still have some available. 22. This one. Right. Okay, let me see here. I need to look at this closer. I didn't realize we still had these. Okay. These were 13, getting at 15. Got 3 of them available. These are nice. These are little hematite faceted rounds. Very sparkly. Hematite faceted rounds. And we've got 3 strands available, and they are 3 millimeters per strand. HZP 23. Did I say 3 millimeters per strand? 3 millimeters per bead. I think I said per strand. Did not mean to say that. My family had a routine watch list Sunday nights growing up. Walt Disney, The Ed Sullivan Show, and Gunsmoke, says Marianne. Nice. My family, I'm trying to think, like I remember going off and watching shows on my own, but I'm trying to think, like, what did my family sit down and actually watch? We all liked different things, so I don't it's weird, but I don't remember like sitting down as a family and watching a lot of things, which I'm sure we did. I'm 100% sure we did, but I just don't remember. I do remember like my mom used to work night shift, and um, here's some other hematite as well. These were, wow, 16. We'll bring them down to 12. We did 12 before. Let's see how many strands of this I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My mom used to watch the night shift, and then I remember my dad, we would sit and watch TV sometimes at night, and I don't know how late it was or when it was on, but like we would watch Taxi. I remember us watching Taxi and Hawaii 5 and WKRP in Cincinnati. Um, and sometimes like All in the Family was on. This is hematite as well, natural hematite, real hematite, 6 millimeter faceted rounds, HZP 24, $12 a strand. Go really well with those small hematite strand at 23. Norma says, we watched Walt Disney and Sullivan, but rarely Gunsmoke. My grandfather used to like those Westerns. I remember my grandmother always talking about he was watching the Westerns. He didn't watch a lot of TV, but sometimes he would. Turkey Drop, WKRP. I know, right? The Turkey Drop was hilarious. Diane said, "Yeah, that was a good one. Um, that was a good one." Um, Norma says Ed Sullivan was on late. I know because I got to stay up late. If Topo Gigio was on, I don't know who that is. Our family did, especially in the winter. Sunday afternoons, we watched British Sunday theater on rainy days, says Marianne. Nice. HZP 25. Yeah, I don't remember watching much as a like together as a family. We went our own ways a lot of times, I know. But I'm sure, like I'm sure we watched things together, but I don't know. I don't know what. Okay, let go of this. Let go of this. Come on, what are you doing? The bag is beating me here. I'm like trying to figure out what is happening. We watched one Adam 12, a police show, says Susie. I don't know that one either. Okay. We had these at 32. I'm going to drop this down to 28. These are very intricate, beautiful Lamport glass speeds. It's a set of 3 for $28. Andrew said, we watched Dynasty, Knots Landing, and Dallas. That's fun. These are gorgeous beads. Beautiful Lamport glass, all different colors. Topo Gigio was a mouse puppet. His signature line was Eddie, kiss me goodnight with an Italian accent. That's cute. Oh, that's why Marion said a mouse puppet. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, when we would when we would stay with my gram, we would often my gram would we would play board games or card games or like the card tile games. Like we played Rummikub and Payday, and there was a train crossing game. I forget what it was called. Railroad crossing, maybe. Um, but we play all different kinds of games, and we always had um, in the background. It used to be usually the time when Golden Girls came on, so we'd watch Golden Girls. And Empty Nest was usually, I think, after Golden Girls. Empty Nest came on. And we would laugh. And of course, we were young kids, so we didn't always get all of the humor in those until later in life. But it was funny. My grandmother would watch them with us. Marion says our family game was Scrabble. Nice. We did not play Scrabble. We did mainly like more kids games like I said, sometimes Monopoly, Payday, um, that railroad crossing, I think it was called, which was a complicated game. We play Rummikub. I feel like there's another big game we play that I'm forgetting. These are these vintage Czech glass beads. And these are about 5.5 millimeters by 12.5 millimeters. Anybody else play any family board games? Sometimes my brother and I would go with my mom out late at night to do the night shift. And we would stay busy. I'll put these away. These are the hematite. That's like a hematite night here. I didn't plan on that, but hematite fetishes, $2 each, 5 of them available. We would play Go Fish and Old Maid. We had these little card games, and we'd play Go Fish and Old Maid with my mom out at night shift sometimes. And this is HZP20. And it says we played Hand and Foot. I don't know what Hand and Foot is. Monopoly was more with friends, said Marianne. Yeah, we didn't like, we never had, growing up, my brother and I never really had, until we got older, we didn't have friends come over and stuff like that, or stay over at friends' houses all that much. So we were always just doing things as a family. Oops, I have a bag for these. I'll put these away. HZP21. We still have some of these available. We've sold some. Let's see here. And it says, no, my dad loved new technology, so we got an Atari. Nice. My cousin had an Atari that we tried to play as kids, but it came with the Atari game. It had Pong, of course, but then it also had E.T. And I think E.T. was known as one of the worst Atari games. I think E.T. is the Atari game they actually took and dumped all of the cartridges in a landfill, because it was such a poorly executed game, if I remember reading about that correctly. And so I got so frustrated because I never could do anything on it. You'd fall in a pit right away at the very beginning of the game, and then you couldn't do anything after that. We could never figure out how to actually get out of that. And back then you couldn't like look on the internet. HZP23, $15 a strand. Norma says we played Monopoly, Scrabble, and Clue. Andrew said we also played Sequence. I don't know any of those. Sequence, Hand and Foot. Now I do know Monopoly, Scrabble, and Clue. I never played Clue. I think I played Clue maybe once with my cousins, but I barely played. I think I maybe was watching more than playing. Susan says, I remember playing Kismet and Spill and Spell and Candyland. Marion says Snakes and Ladders and Checkers. Yes, we did have Snakes and Ladders, Checkers, Candyland. I forgot about Candyland. We had Candyland. What else? Oh, Parcheesi. My grandmother on my dad's side loved Parcheesi. So we would play that. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but that's how we pronounced it. And she loved playing that. So sometimes we play with her. She also liked to do puzzles. So sometimes she would have a puzzle out and we would all do puzzles together. Marion says, oh, Parcheesi too. Nice. Andrew said, my grandpa used to make the sequence boards to sell. Huh. This was $145. It's now $120 for all of you, if you would like it. This beautiful raven lampwork glass bead. There's the price, $145 originally. Raven with a little bead in its beak. Look at the detail. I don't know how people do this. Marion says, never heard of sequence. Me either. And this bead is approximately 39.5 millimeters. Nice big bead, raven with the full moon. Beautiful color. Andrew says, Carrie made that. Look at that detail. Marianne says, looks like a Carrie bead. It is. You got it, Marianne. One of those available, HZP 27. Let's see, what else do I have in here? This bag of goodies. Norman says mousetrap. I think I've heard of mousetrap. Now this is a stunning set. HZP 28 was 42, bringing it down to 34 for you. Linda says that's gorgeous. It is, right? Look at this one. Beautiful flower. Look at the flowers on that. Beautiful design. And you got this large bead here. So you got the rondelle on the top, and then this kind of inverted drop. Now it could go this way too. You could do it this way. I kind of like it this way. You do what you want. Beautiful big bead. Lampwork glass, $34. This is about 20 and a half by 30 for the large one, and about 18 by 8 for the smaller one. Marion says, I love Carrie's work, but she's painting more now rather than making beads. Well, there's a bead if you want one, right? Still got one. No one's grabbed it up yet. Nice sell price on that. HZP 29. See, this one was 20. I'll go down to 18. Marion says, I want one of her dragons. Andrew says, I don't think we're going to do TRL tomorrow since it's too cold for me. Yeah, I forgot we said we might do TRL tomorrow. It's cold. It is cold at the cottage. It's supposed to warm up a little tomorrow, but This is HZP 29. This was 20. You can see there. Bring it down to 18 for you all. Beautiful lamp work. I love this kind of deserty colors in there. Look at how pretty that is. And that one is 12.5 by 26 millimeters. HZP 29. Okay. And the last one tonight, HZP 30, was $22, bringing it down to $18 for you all. It's this set of 6 lampwork glass beads. It's frosted blue color. Beautifully designed. It brings it down to $3 a bead. Look at these little flowers on here. Those are so delicate and beautiful. So you're getting a stripy one like this. Getting one of the flower ones like this. You're getting 2. Well, this is a little bit different. Similar but different. And then this one. And that's HZP 30. These are approximately 14.5 millimeters. I think this one's a little bit bigger, about 15.5. This one, about 15. So 14.5 to 15.5 millimeters. Set of 6, $18. HZP 30. And that, friends, is it for tonight. Thank you all for hanging out with us. Thanks for all the TV suggestions. And I got a lot to look into, and it's been nice reminiscing about old shows and things we used to do when we were younger. So thankful for that. Thankful for all of you out there. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to email, and I'll try and get back to you as quickly as I can. I will be at the shop for the next 3 days this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So we will still have our live tomorrow. We'll be showing something. I don't know what. We'll be showing some of Andrew's things that are going to drop tomorrow at 7 p.m. on the website. So we'll show them also on camera at 7:30. Well, probably around 8:30 by the time we get done talking. And then I'll have some other goodies picked out for y'all. So stay tuned for that. And then Saturday and Sunday, we'll have the weekend. I'll probably do a D-Stash event this Sunday night. Again, I've been doing those on Sunday nights around 8, and it seems to be working out a good time for people. So we'll probably see you back there again this Sunday as well. So thank you all. Have an amazing evening. Marion said some lovely things tonight. Thank you. And Susan says, good night, everyone. Good night, and we'll see you tomorrow. Have a great one, everybody. Bye now.